Hello everyone, and thanks for checking out the online car sales video training series. My name is Timothy DeJesus, and this is part one, the role of a salesperson. So what should you as a salesperson be doing on an everyday basis? Well, there are four basic functions that every salesperson should be doing on an everyday basis. Whether you're a rookie or a veteran, whether you've been in it just a couple days or for years at a time. And we're gonna discuss that today. So let's get right into it. So the very first thing you should be doing on an everyday basis is getting people to like you. Now, I've watched many sales trainings, and this can be overstated. People talk about in other sales trainings about building rapport and finding common ground. And that's part of the process. But getting someone to like you can be as simple as being friendly, being personable, and knowing a little bit about what you're talking about. And when I say that, I mean knowing what the steps in the sales process are, knowing about the car that you're presenting to a customer, and also knowing when to say, I don't know the answer to that, but let me find out for you, because that's equally important. If you don't know what you're talking about and you try to BS the customer, there's a good chance they're going to figure it out. And as soon as they find out that you've lied to them or misled them, then they're going to lose trust in you. So why is it so important to get somebody to like you? Well, to put it simply, if a customer doesn't like you, if they don't trust you and they don't respect you, you can be the most knowledgeable salesperson in the industry. There's a good chance they're not going to buy from you because they've never made a connection with you. The second thing you should be doing is generating your own sales opportunities. Now, why is this important? What does that mean? So generating your own sales opportunities means that people should come in asking for you as a salesperson by name, regardless if the dealership created that sales opportunity for you or not. Why is this important? So if people are coming in and asking for you by name, does that make your job easier or harder? Well, that's a loaded question. Of course, it makes your job easier. But why does it make your job easier? Let's talk about that. So when you have a customer coming in and asking for you by name, typically that sale is easier because the customer wants to do business with you already. They may have saw a car on your lot or on your website that they want to buy, but still, they're coming in and asking for you. They want to do business with you already. So you have a opportunity at a higher closing lead versus somebody who's never seen you, never visited the dealership, doesn't know much about you, and they're just kind of exploring. If somebody's coming in and asking for you by name, they probably want to do business with you as long as you can find a car that fits their needs and makes sense for their budget. How else does this make your job easier? Well, sales is and always will be a numbers game. So the more people you have in front of you, the more opportunities you have to sell cars. The more opportunities you have to sell cars, especially higher closing ratio opportunities, the more cars you will sell. So if you want to put yourself at an advantage every month instead of a disadvantage, if you generate your own sales opportunities, you'll have more opportunities to sell cars. The more opportunities to sell cars, the more cars you can and will sell in any given month. The third thing you should be doing is determining the type of buyer that you have in front of you. So what does this mean? It means you should know whether the customer wants to pay cash or finance or lease the car, whether they want to get a car or an SUV, whether they're a wants or a needs buyer. All of these things are important because that's going to determine the type of vehicle you're going to present, and it's also going to determine the type of negotiation you're going to have with them. So I'll give you an example. If you've ever spent an hour in a sales process and you find out very late in the game that a customer has bad credit and you've been working the deal the entire time as though they have good credit, that's going to change the whole dynamic of the deal. So when you go to present numbers, if you present them numbers based on the fact that you think they have good credit and you work the deal with a 5 or 7% interest rate and they have bad credit, now that interest rate may go to 20%. And that payment that you just presented them may jump by over $100 a month. Do you think you're going to make that sale? There's a good chance you probably won't, because now you have to tell the customer something unexpected after you've already presented them numbers. So it's important to know what type of buyer you have in front of you. If they're a wants or a needs buyer. A wants buyer, they may not be looking today unless they get exactly what they want. Then that can be a deal for today. If they're a needs buyer, they may be looking to buy a car right now if the kind of car fits their needs, not necessarily their wants, but what they actually need out of the car, and it fits their budget. So all of these things are important to determine what type of buyer you have in front of you. We're gonna touch on this a lot more in a later training session, but this is super important for any salesperson, whether you're a rookie or a veteran. Now, the last thing every salesperson should be doing is being able to select the right car. This is so important because, again, this goes back to the credibility piece. If you're constantly selecting the wrong car for the customer, there's a good chance they're gonna lose faith in you as a salesperson. And even if you have the right car, they're not bought into you anymore because they think that you don't know what you're talking about. So you've lost their trust, and again, you may have lost the sale altogether. So selecting the right car, whether you're a rookie or veteran, is extremely important. We're gonna talk later on about a greet sheet, and that greet sheet is gonna help you determine if the car is right for them. And it's also gonna determine the type of buyer you're talking to. But at the end of the day, these last two steps are crucial to your credibility as a salesperson and your ability to keep somebody long enough that they'll actually buy a car from you once you present numbers on the right vehicle. So again, to recap, the 4 basic functions that every salesperson, whether you're a rookie or veteran, should be able to do is get people to like you, generate your own sales opportunities, determine the type of buyer you're dealing with, and then find them the right car. If you can do these 4 things, you can be a professional in this industry. Now, I've worked with a few sales professionals that have made over $200,000 per year. And they did this before they can actually build a following on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on any of these social media sites. Why and how did they do it? Well, they built a brand, they built a following. Even though they didn't have social media, they still built a following. They had people constantly coming in asking for them by name. Eventually, it got to the point that they didn't need the dealership's floor traffic, and they were a true asset to the dealership. Because if that salesperson left, maybe 20 or 30 cars per month or more went with them. So that's where you want to achieve. If you're going to be a salesperson, you're going to be a professional in this business long term, you want to achieve that kind of status where you have people constantly coming in asking for you by name, and they want to do business with you specifically, regardless of what dealership you're at. That's what a sales professional looks like. Well, thank you everyone for watching. Really appreciate you taking the time. Stay tuned for our next episode where we talk about the meet and greet and the importance of what the meet and greet does for the entire sale. If you liked what you saw here, don't forget to like and subscribe to Dealer Masters LLC on YouTube. Thanks again. Have a great day.